Welcome. This is Gull Khan, your money mindset expert. And once again, we have the amazing, the charming Christi Cooper. Welcome, Christi.
Thank you for having me again.
Christi, everyone's heard how amazing you are, but please, in your own words, share with everybody what it is that you do.
Yeah, I am a designer and creative strategist. I own and operate Cooper and Hart Creative, where I help people in the online space, primarily coaches, consultants, service providers, really kind of up level their brands with websites and sales pages that they love to share and help them sell.
Wonderful. And so, Christi, today we're talking about common mistakes that people make in the websites. So let's start with that. What kind of mistakes do people make? Let's give them, give them a few. What's the very worst mistake that you've seen, and which happens over and over again with people's websites, and especially when they're starting off as entrepreneurs and on the service-based sector? What do you see as the most prominent mistake?
Yeah, one of the most biggest, that's not proper grammar. One of the biggest mistakes I see people who kind of DIY their websites is really kind of making it hard for people to contact you or buy from you. So don't hide your contact information. Make sure you list it right after they offer, after you talk about your offer, put a button or a link that takes them to the next step. I see that so commonly. It's like you find someone who's interesting, then you're like, how do I take the next step with you? You want to be really clear and repeat it often because you want people to contact you and buy from you.
Awesome. So this is important to know. And I know, because we recently launched our website, gullkhan.com. And I know this is something that we did quite a bit, so I want everyone to, go ahead and opt in to come into my workshop. And that's the best way for people to learn from it. It's a 2-day intense workshop. They can come into there, and then from there they come into the mastermind if they're right for it, if they're suitable for it. So in mind, again, we've got it sprinkled all throughout the website. Come and check out. I want to be abundant. I want to be abundant. Something along that kind of tagline. But we've got it sprinkled throughout, and it's just that one button. They go again. Every button, it takes them to the same place, which is opting into this workshop that takes place intermittently throughout the year. And it's so important. And I remember when I was thinking about this, because I remember we had so many different offers and so many different things and different pages. Different pages had different things. It was just all over the place. Right. And I remember when I set this up, I said, no, I don't want it. I only have one offer. I have many products, but I only do one offer, which is the mastermind. And how to get to the mastermind is through the workshop. So there we are, get to the workshop. And I do have a place where they can watch and book a call with me, but that wasn't something that appealed to me, because I think if someone books a call, they waste my time, and unless they've been to the workshop, because unless they've been to the workshop, they don't know what I'm talking about. So no, you need to go through the workshop and come to me. And that was a conscious decision that I made on my website. And it makes sense. So if now someone finds me, they know the next step for them to do, go to the workshop. Nothing else between that. Doesn't matter what page they land on, they're going to end up getting the button that takes them to the workshop. So I do understand that's very important. And of course, you have the contact form and other things and all the other things that comes on the website. But this is so important, so people know what's the next step. So many times, I think people have so many different offers or so many things that people can do. They can go and watch it. I do. So there's a blog post, there's a podcast that click, and whatever else. But what do I want people to do? Ideally,
this is what I call the primary action goal. And whenever I'm sitting down with someone to design their website, this is the first question. What do we want people to do when they go to your website? Because you're a business. You need people to take action. You don't just need them to read your blog or whatever.
Exactly.
You need them to do something. You're trying to encourage them to do something. And then that's how we design the website structure. What pages do we need? What content do we need in order to guide them to feel inspired to take that next step? And we want to repeat that next step, like you were saying, throughout the website, so that we're reminding them as they're going through the content.
Exactly, multiple times we've done that. So that's the case. So thank God I've not done that mistake anymore. It's now been rectified on my end.
Awesome.
But so what's the next mistake that people make when they design their websites?
Yeah, another big mistake I see is what we call the hero section of the homepage. So when people land on your website and before they scroll or click anywhere, I see this section wasted, oftentimes with a pretty picture, or it says, welcome, my name is, so-and-so. And that's really a missed opportunity to communicate quickly with your ideal client or customer, what you do for them, like what kind of results are you offering them? Like, you really want to communicate something along the lines of like what you do and who you help in that first section before they click away or scroll and get confused. Like, it's just really important to like just start speaking to them up front and kind of hook them in and gain their attention.
That's really, really important, because most people have attention span of a goldfish now. And yes. They click and go, And I think even we've become so impatient, especially with the rise of TikTok, the 15-second or 10-second videos or 3-second videos or whatever the hell there is. Yeah. If a website takes longer than 10 seconds to load, that's taking too long, and they've jumped off. So I think this is the attention span of the audience has just reduced immensely. And we can say all sorts of things and all sorts of reasons for it. Whatever the reason, this is the climate and this is the world we live in. So your ideal client, unfortunately, consciously or subconsciously, has been programmed to behave in this way. Yes. So we have to deal with a client in the same way. We have to meet them where they are. So it's important to make sure that you deliver your promise quickly and rapidly in that space. Without doing it. So that makes sense. And you got me thinking, what does my website look like? So I'm going to go back and check that when I go out and see what do we have, what do we say. Okay, so that's mistake number 2. What's mistake number 3?
Kind of related to that is I don't know if it's related to that, but big blocks of copy on your business website. People just don't read it. People only read blocks of copy when they're like looking to read a news article or maybe a blog article like that. Then they're like, okay, I'm sitting down to read something. But when they're going to your business website, they are trying to find that information. There's something that sparked their interest enough to visit your site, and they're looking for that information on your site, and they don't want to read a bunch of copy related to the attention span, right? People don't have time to read big blocks of copy. So we want to break it up as much as possible and edit it down as much as we can, or what makes sense for your people, and design it in a way that kind of guides people through the content so they can skim it really easily and find what they're looking for. It's really key to kind of keeping people engaged and getting them quickly to what they're looking for on the website or sales page if you're doing a sales page.
So would you recommend doing more videos? Because I think wouldn't that make, if we have more videos on your website, it'll make it more heavy because it'll take time to load then, wouldn't it? So if you have a message to get across, so how do you get the message across without having, I'm playing devil's advocate here. And I'm thinking of my own as I go, because there's on my about me page, I would say it probably is a block of information, but then that talks about my journey and where I was, the fact that I'm a lawyer and now I'm not, well, actually not practicing one, so anyway. And then there are other things of, what led me down to the path and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, how do we convey that across if we're not going to give them in, chunks of information or blocks of information? This is written format.
So I would say what I'm talking about is don't have just a traditional paragraph of copy after paragraph of copy. Okay. You really want to pull it out into different lines, make things different sizes. You're really trying to call attention to different things as they're going through the copy. So it's not that you can't have a lot of copy. It's that you want to display it and format it in a way that makes it easy for people to scan and find where that caught my interest. You're an attorney, right? Oh, that's an interesting part. I'm going to read that part, right? Rather than just like paragraphs like you'd see in a book or a news article that just like there's nothing that breaks it up, because people just they don't read it all. They'll read the first line and then they don't read it so much. So that's what I mean by breaking it up. So videos, I say videos really just kind of depend on you and your business and how you want to communicate with people, because I think it's kind of split on whether people watch videos or not. Some people like to watch videos, but they take in information really well that way, and other people don't want to watch videos. They're like, I just want to read it. I'm one of those who actually likes to read on a website or sales page versus watching a video. I don't want to sit there and watch you talk to me. But then other people just take things in better visually like that, or audibly.
Yeah,
Audibly?
I mean, it depends. I mean, I like listening to things and I like reading things. And sometimes if someone's talking, I like to listen while I'm reading at the same time. So that's, but then I'm dyslexic, so I'm a bit weird anyway. I like to do things multiple ways and to take information in.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to have both formats. And the reason why I mention videos is because we're getting accustomed to listening to videos, even if with the captions. So we may actually watch the videos and read the captions, which is exactly the same things on the piece of paper, but we read the captions, but we'd rather watch the video, which is so stupid. But you know, we have the audio off and listen to looking at the person doing in silence, but reading the captions. Because that's become the norm. You know, there's certainly, this is one of the things I run by the marketing that we talk about, or I've talked about in the team as well, because I do most of my marketing and studying intuitively, so I've picked up that stuff. And one other thing is, you know, if you have any videos, it doesn't matter what format, you know, if it's YouTube or even TikTok, or TikTok especially, but even Facebook and stuff like that, you need to have captions because people watch in silence. I'm like, why would logically, like if you want a video, why would you watch in silence? But apparently you do, and a lot of them do. So you have to have the captions. And I know that for a fact. So we do make sure that you have captions, especially in the ads and stuff. But it's one of those things that I think videos is become important, so people get to see who you are as a character.
Yeah.
You speak a lot more, just not just with your words, but body language, and people want to see your body language even while they're reading your captions.
Yes. Yeah. I do think video is valuable, even if you don't put it on your website. It might belong more on your social platform, wherever you're at, because it does, especially if you are a more personal brand where you are the face of your brand, you're the personality behind your brand. Video is important there because people want to see you talk. You know, they want to see your personality, they want to hear how you say things, and that, you know, we just connect with people so much more face to face than we do just reading a caption or reading an article. I did want to note that captions are also important on videos for those who have accessibility issues, and so, you know, it helps them, those who can't hear as well, take in their video.
That's another point as well. So it does make sure that the audience which cannot actually listen can receive a value from the video too, and I think that's important point. But I was talking about the people who watch, like my daughter, who watches it with, you know, audio off. I'm like, why do you watch the damn video?
I confess that I do that sometimes on Instagram because I don't want to like bother, if I'm sitting with my family, I don't want to bother them by, well, if I turn anything on with sound, my kids are like all around me like, what are you watching, Mom? What are you watching? And like,
actually, that's true. That's true. I think that's something else. I didn't think of that. It could be that you don't want to disturb people around you, so you put video on, but with audio off, so you can just listen to or read the captions.
Yes,
and I think that's become the norm now. So okay, so that's the third one. What's the next largest or biggest mistake you think you find on people's websites?
I see a lot. I see this in businesses that have been kind of growing, and so they keep adding pages to their websites and stuff like that, and their website gets really confusing because they keep adding links to the navigation bar, and then usually if you have more than like 5 or 6 links in your main navigation, people just get confused and they're like, I don't know where to go from here. Like there's too many options, my brain shuts down. And so you really want to be, this kind of goes back to your action goal. You want to be really clear on where you're trying to guide people, and you want to organize your information in ways that it's easier for them to take in. So maybe you have categories with drop downs, and then under the category is some options, versus just putting all your links in the navigation. I see this, like people put like all their freebies in the navigation. There's like freebie, and then their coaching, and then their program, and then their this program, and then contact, and then blog, and it's too much. It's too overwhelming, and people just don't know where to go. So you got to be conscious that you're not confusing people, because you really want to think about it from the user's perspective of like, they don't know about your stuff. They don't know where to go, and you need to guide them to where they need to go.
Yeah. Okay. That makes complete sense to me, because I think that's important. A lot of the times we you know, I think especially people who are starting out, new entrepreneurs or new coaches, they have a gazillion things and a gazillion offers all on their website. And I'm not having a go at anyone. I was one of them. So obviously we've changed. The first iteration was like that was changed a long time ago, and the most recent one has been streamlined even further, where the offer is just limited to one offer, or other things we do. We do have podcasts, and we do have option to people to ask for them to, if they want to come on as a guest, or they want to invite me as a guest on theirs. But then that's part of it, because that's who I am now, because I'm a podcast host as well. And we have a blog. But the idea is for everyone to, for it not to be so huge, because considering how much I do, it could be a lot bigger than it is. We're trying to keep it as streamlined as possible. And still the goal everywhere is, apart from the pages where they invite guests or be invited as a guest, everywhere else is like, come to the workshop, come to the workshop, come to the workshop. So it's all streamlined as much as possible, so people do not get confused. And I think this is so important to know. You may do a gazillion things, but you don't want your clients to come and see. And anything more than, if you have more than 2 choices, they get confused. That's why even the payment plans, I have 2 payment plans. That's it. Take that, take the option or not. There's nothing in between. And because people get confused, the more options they have, the more, people are like, huh? And they stop and they freeze, and that you've lost your client.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. Simple is better, especially earlier on. I mean, you'll see like more corporate type websites or stuff, like when they have a lot of things going on, they have like a lot of different, they try to organize it but it's still like, you're just look for the search bar, right? Like you just like, where's the search bar to find what I'm looking for? Because there's just so many menu options, even if they organize it under what they call mega menus, where you have menu and then you have a menu and then a menu. It still can be confusing to find things. So okay, so that's simple is better.
Simple. Keep it simple. Okay. And so one final mistake. Let's talk about that before we wrap this up. What's the 5th mistake that you often find on most people's websites?
5th mistake. I'm trying to think what would be. Like I see buttons that don't look like buttons. So you want to be really clear about that, but that's kind of connected to what we've already talked about. Just being really clear on how people can take the next step with you. Make sure your buttons actually look like buttons. If it just looks like a little text link, it can be really confusing. And you want to be really clear on where that button goes. So I see people try to be really clever with their buttons, like the text on the buttons, and you're like, where is this button going to go if I click it? Like people get unsure about clicking links. They're unsure. So you just want to make it really clear on the buttons side of things. And then the other thing I would say is, especially if you're a personal brand, is making sure you have images of you on the website. I see that especially with early stage DIY websites. People haven't gone to get like a nice portrait photography. And so they're like, I don't want to put my picture on there. Do I have to put my picture on there? Like, do I have to put my picture on there? I'm like, if you are a personal brand, like you're a coach, you're a consultant of some sort, people are going to be working with you. They want to see your face. So please put at least one photo when you're getting started of you on there, so people can see you and connect with you.
I think that's very, very important, like having personal branding shots. When you first get started, I think let's put this in context. When you first start out as a coach, when you first up to first 6 figures, you don't really need to have a website. You can actually be doing this all organic and other things, and do it on social media platforms, be it IG, Facebook, or YouTube, whatever you're using. I think once you've grown to a certain level where you have generated enough income, then I think it's worth investing in a personal brand photo shoot. I'm hiring somebody and actually getting the professional photos done, and then actually thinking about a website. I think having this strategic strategy in mind and being strategic about how you build your business is important. I find too many people being fluffing around, assessing about, I need to have a website done, I have to get this done, I have to get a funnel done, I have to get this done. And like, how much money have you made? Oh, no, Mom. Like, what are you doing, right? All you need is a payment processor, which you can Stripe or PayPal, and you need to have, one thing of being a lawyer, I would definitely recommend is have a contract in place. Always have a contract in place. I was speaking to someone about this earlier. Make sure you have a contract. That's one thing you need to have. Invest in a lawyer or one of these, DIY things. I don't know, whatever suits you, depending which part of the world you're in. Get a contract in place so you can get your clients to sign those contracts with you, so that we don't have issues with Stripe and PayPal. And then get on with it. And then once you've built a certain level, then invest in one, getting a website, two, making sure you have branding photo shoots so you can look professional. And three, you can build up that, design look of your website and take all these points into consideration. If you don't even have a professional image, then what are you doing creating a website at the moment? Which means you're too early in your business. Let's get you some clients first. Wouldn't you agree?
I do agree that people spend too much time fidgeting with their website in the early stages, because they think if they just like move things around on it or whatever, get it just right, like it'll be good. But I have seen in clients and people who I've worked with that once they get even like a simple website up, like a one-page website up, they feel so much more confident when they talk to leads. So they're like, oh, I feel so professional. I have a website that I can send my leads to, the people I'm having conversations with, and they just feel better about it. And that's not true for everyone. There are definitely people who just like, they don't need a website. They can just go and have conversations and make sales, right? But I see that there are some people who just feel better when they have something to show people that they're a professional, right? I'm a legit business. So I think it's true both ways.
Wonderful. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap this up. Tell us, Christi, how can we connect with you? How can we find you on the internet?
Yeah, my website is cooperandhart.com, and you can find me on Instagram at cooperandhart.
Wonderful. And if you are listening to us on podcast, we will have Christi's links in the show notes. And if you're watching us on YouTube, then down below in the description section, we'll have her links to go check her out and see how she can help you build your brand and your website. Christi, thank you so much for being such an amazing guest. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I've learned quite a lot actually about websites from just talking to you. But thank you so much for being a guest today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And thank you for listening to me and Christi today on Money Talkies. I will be back on another Money Talkies segment, speaking to another amazing guest, finding out how you and I can build a better business. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull Khan signing off. Take care and bye for now.